This video is going to be a look at 5 specific plays from the Ravens' 13-12 win over the Falcons in Week 2 of the preseason that I think highlight the versatility and the potential impact that Trenton Simpson can have. Generally going to be playing as a boundary side inside linebacker, essentially replacing Patrick Queen's spot when the ball's on the hash, which, if you don't know, the ball spends a significant amount of time on the hash at all levels of football. I'm going to show you some coverage snaps of Trenton Simpson that I've talked about in 2 other videos. His use as a blitzer, which could somewhat be similar to Patrick Queen at times, and then him against the run. I think it's promising, and we should be excited about it. I've covered some of these in 2 other videos, but I wanted to package them together because, number one, I thought they were interesting. Number two, after looking at them for the better part of about an hour Wednesday morning, the first 4 possessions, basically, I realized I thought he played an exceptional football game with very few exceptions. This first one is going to be a 3rd and 11, the Falcons' 3rd possession. Simpson's going to be used as a blitzer. And what I like about this is, number one, the guard peels off. It's a great play by J.A.D., who seems to be playing well, if you ask me, in the preseason. The guard peels off, and you will get the end zone angle in a minute. This is Simpson, and he's going to initially be contacted by the guard. The guard peels off to deal with a 2-man blitz off the edge, a little switch rush that the Ravens run. What I really like is the next part. He's dealing with the guard for a moment, who long arms him, and then Simpson just runs through the A gap, which is his assigned gap on this particular blitz, and then the running back gets a pretty big shoulder onto him. Simpson keeps playing through the contact and finishes to officially get a quarterback hit. These are the types of things that I think we need him to do. If there is going to be a relative weakness of his game, I think it would be in pass coverage, compared to some of the things we've seen him do against the run, and him as a blitzer. This, to me, do we need him to get 5 sacks? Do we need him to be able to do some of the things that Patrick Queen did? Well, yes, the answer to the second question. We don't need him to necessarily finish plays, but get enough of them where we can get pressure on the quarterback through either organic 4-man rushes where he's just replacing a defensive end or outside linebacker, or in the case of this one, some of these more creative 5-man rushes where dropping out Malik Harrison, dropping out David Ojabo. Not a huge fan of that one necessarily. You've got a slow-playing defensive tackle here, and then we're just trying to overwhelm to this side. You've got a switch rush with a safety off the edge, and then Robinson going outside. Pre-snap, those 2 guys had lined up separately. Safety, Eddie Jackson to the outside. Robinson, number 2, defensive end, and then Simpson. And then watch how these guys switch the rushes, trying to overwhelm and just have at least one guy win. And in this case, I think you'd have to say Simpson wins once. Maybe he's credited for 2 of them, but the guard is just framing him up long arm and to go get work to the outside. Second possession, this is a 3rd and 2. First of all, it's an absolute win by Brent Urban. I'll give you the end zone angle, and then we'll come back to the all-22 so you can see a little bit from Trenton Simpson, the point that I'm trying to make. You got an absolute win here by Brent Urban, and then Simpson is also involved in stacking this up because of how violently he takes on the center. The center's working horizontal to try to get to Urban, to get him expanded horizontally, but Simpson presses downhill so quickly, he basically walks the center back into the play. Running back basically runs directly into Urban. Tavius Robinson also gets credit for the play. We're going to go back to the all-22 for a moment because you may say, well, Coach, you didn't make a tackle. It doesn't look that impressive to me. What I like about this is the situational awareness. My apologies. The situational awareness. So look at the line of scrimmage, 47. Line to gain is the 45. And what Simpson does here is make a decision, probably pre-snap, but also during the play. I'm coming downhill right now. And he's trying to press the center back towards the line of scrimmage or as close as possible such that the running back has a decision to make, or maybe 2 possible options, both of which are bad. David Ojabo closing this down from the backside means the running back can't cut it back. It's more like a wide zone or outside zone anyway, so he's assigned to take it to the boundary or tasked to take it to the boundary. My point in showing you the all-22 and trying to tell you that I really like this play is 3rd and 2 is different than 1st and 10. And here, I think Simpson has made up his mind. I'm going to run through the face of whoever shows up, in this case the center, and make sure I can get him back to the line of scrimmage so we can just create a wonderful mess out of things and force them to convert a 4th and short. Now, unfortunately, they did. They busted us for 8 yards on the very next play. Second possession again. This is after that first down. I love the tempo that he uses here. He does have the safety, Eddie Jackson, rolled up to his side. I don't know about you. It seemed like Eddie Jackson was rolled up into the box more than I would have presumed. Now, he's the boundary side safety here, but he's got help in the form of Eddie Jackson to the outside. So I like the tempo that he takes, even though when you get the end zone angle, it certainly looks like he's a B-gap player, and B-gap ends up being Eddie Jackson's responsibility. Pre-snap alignment certainly looks B-gap, C-gap, D-gap outside here for Eddie Jackson, even though there's no number 2 receiver. So this guard's going to work up to Jackson, and then the center, who's hidden by the camera and Taylor Heinicke, is going to try to reach the nose tackle, the one technique, the shade, meaning he's going to try to get to the outside of him. And he kind of does here for a moment. Simpson plays over that gap, that nose tackle. I guess really he's playing under his gap, which was B-gap pre-snap. But when you've got the boundary side safety rolled up, in this case Eddie Jackson, it does kind of kick the gaps over conceptually. And I like the tempo that he's got here. Great feat, if you ask me, on this particular play. You do have a good job generally by our edge defenders on direct run flow concepts in this game. I felt like Tavius Robinson got expanded a little bit too far here, but there is at least an edge set that Trenton Simpson can fit inside of. Now imagine for a moment we didn't have the boundary side safety there. We'd be in trouble on this particular play because the guard would have been able to work up to Simpson. It's just a math problem at that point. Additional to that, closing down from the backside, Adisa Isaac, the tight end. I'm not sure what the tight end is trying to do here. These two are comboing up to Malik Harrison. I don't know why they're not just cupping this on the backside, making it more difficult for Adisa Isaac to come downhill on, try to give the running back that potential cutback lane. But in any case, great job by Simpson. Also, I think Broderick Washington involved, and then Isaac closing down from the backside. The second possession, he's pretty active because the very next play, this third down, 3rd and 9, Heinicke ends up scrambling, and Simpson gets credit for the tackle. A couple of things here that I really like. Number one, we're playing zone. And watch how Simpson allows the running back to flow past him. So he's got help in the zone to his outside. I think this is Holman up to the top side. So as the running back flows through here from the backfield, Simpson doesn't allow himself to get pulled. If he did allow himself to get pulled, what would eventually happen on this play, 15, is a wide receiver from the field would fit directly into that window. As it stands, Simpson holds in the hook zone, basically. Fits inside of any potential throwing lane from Heinicke to 15. Holman is able to try to stay in between this high-low that's happening here. I think that all of this is possible because of good discipline and awareness by Holman and Trenton Simpson, and then he's just a better athlete than Taylor Heinicke. So yes, he deserves credit for making the play, but we would expect him to make that play. What I like is the totality of what happens on this play. Zone defense. You may say, well, coach, this looks simple. He's basically just standing where he was pre-snap, allowing the running back to work to his help to the outside, to Simpson's help to the outside, that is. Holding in the hook zone, not overflowing, and then finishing with the tackle. It was, of course, a 5-yard gain, and I think they did hit a 54 or 55-yard field goal on the very next play. Third possession, Simpson man on the tight end. This is the play where Ojabo gets a win and I think a quarterback pressure. I thought Ojabo could, well, I don't know how you score wins and losses and quarterback pressures are different stats, but I thought Ojabo gave us at least 2 really good rushes, this one and then the spin move. But as far as Simpson, he's inside leverage. He knows he's got potential help in the middle of the field. Simpson has to be able to defend a deeper out. That is the, I guess, weakness of the coverage. I wouldn't say weakness. That's the area that he's got to make a play on. He's got to prevent that himself. He doesn't have help on the deep out. Were the tight end to take this, let's say, vertical or up the seam, obviously you've got help in the form of Eddie Jackson in the middle of the field. Simpson, to me, looks like a guy that they wanted to test in the preseason, they being the Ravens coaching staff. Let's find out what he can do. Let's put him in as many different situations as possible. At least on Saturday, I thought he showed the ability to execute these things against the talent level we were facing. against starting caliber players? Is he going to be able to execute on all 5 of these situations? I think I showed you five plays. Maybe it was only 4. I don't know. Maybe you'll have reduced efficiency, reduced effectiveness because of the speed and athleticism of the guys we're going against. But for week 2 of the preseason, you have 5 plays that I think give a real hint as to what he's capable of, what the Ravens see in him now, what the front office saw in him, drafting him in the 3rd round in 2023. I had covered these plays, like I said, individually or maybe in 2 different videos over the course of the week, but I wanted to package them together because I felt like they really illustrate what we might have in Trenton Simpson. Who else is there to play boundary side inside linebacker on 2nd and 8 and on 3rd and 5? I have said in previous videos prior to the preseason games beginning that I'd like to see us in a dime look some, and I still believe that. I still do. Maybe Simpson is a guy that lines up as in a boundary side edge rusher position on 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. But with the talent we have in Owe, Kyle Van Noy, and at least the way that Ojabo looked in limited reps against the Falcons on Saturday, I think we've got to get 2 of those edge rushers on the field. There still, to me, is a decision to be made at some point about who plays boundary side inside linebacker. Is it Trenton Simpson or is it a 6th defensive back? Right now we're missing one, Arthur Millette. Trenton Simpson Nate Wiggins isn't playing for the preseason. I'm sure he's not playing in the 3rd game. So maybe we're not seeing all of the Ravens' hand. But Trenton Simpson gives options. He gives a wide variety of options. And in some cases, a wider variety of options than Patrick Queen did at a commensurate or similar time in his career, meaning 2nd season in the NFL. Queen had made splash plays as a rookie, so that may sound unfair or not actually realistic to you, and that's no problem. But point is, the wide variety, the umbrella for Trenton Simpson of options on a particular play is wider than it was with Patrick Queen. Now it's just a matter of, can he execute them and be efficient with his movement and reads against top-level NFL competition? Appreciate you guys' time, man. Let me know what you think of this video. This 2nd film study look at Trenton Simpson in the preseason, where I thought he was quite impressive, at least through the first 4 possessions.